Hello everyone, I'm French grandmaster Laurent Fressinet and welcome to the 5th episode of the Chicken Chess Club podcast, where I'm joined by my dear friends and colleagues, Jan Gustafsson. Hi Jan, how is life?
Hi Laurent, thank you so much for the introduction. Life is, I'll never say good, but yesterday wasn't a horrible game. It was a horrible game, but not a horrible day. I won a chess game, then I traveled home, and I watched basketball half of the night, and the two teams I want to win won. So that was excellent. Celtics won, and Dallas won.
Yeah, we saw that on Twitter. I mean, you were the hero of Twitter because you just trapped the queen not in the middle of the board, yeah, but that was a nice final position, I would say.
Yeah, it just makes me less miserable to win a game. I've had so many draws this Bundesliga season, and I'm not sure how. For you, you're more optimistic. You can probably just go home and be happy yourself. But it follows me. So I need to win for my sanity once in a while.
Yeah, okay. And we have also Peter Heine Nielsen, the main coach of Magnus Carlsen. Did you play some golf last week, Peter?
Yeah, I did. And I would think that last week was pretty good golfing. At least on Friday, I think I managed to play up to my sort of 1200 rating. So that I regularly don't really manage to do that. But I think there I managed to play at like 1200 level. So that was good. But I would say more importantly also, both my kids had good weeks, no illnesses and such. So that was great on the personal front. And also I would say this week started well because I was up early and debating with anonymous persons on Twitter and such. So I think basically I come up to a flying start.
Okay, very important question. So your shogi skills are better than your golf skills?
A completely different league. I would say that chess I'm 2600, shogi 1900, and golf like 1200. So there's like a 700 gap between these things. But
well, I would debate the 2600 in chess. I mean, like it's a number, but you didn't show up for many years. And the last, I think I remember you showing up like a couple of years ago. It was not mega impressive.
No, I'm not trying to play chess at all. So I'm trying to do coaching instead, as you mentioned. So I mean, well, yeah, you can laugh as much as you want. Actually, today is the 5-year anniversary of me losing a match to a local player in France, in Corsica. So I mean, even there I didn't impress. So it's no, I mean, well, yeah.
So, but I mean, like local player in Corsica, so you still didn't get it. Well, I brought you there. I explained to you that Corsica and France are two different things.
I know,
at least in Corsica.
But you are basically Corsican in the eyes of the Corsicans.
Yes, that's true,
I would say so. So 5 years ago, me and Laurent played a match in Corsica. I lost 2-0, but Facebook keeps reminding me of a lot of lovely beast pictures and food pictures. So it was a great trip, but it reminds me a bit of the concept they have in boxing, where you go to some country and you get completely beaten up, but you get a nice holiday and some money. And that was probably what happened there. I got completely crushed, but I had a good time.
Yeah, no.
That's what they do in boxing? They go to countries for a nice holiday?
I really think so. I think at some point I was playing the Danish league, but this sort of very famous promoter, Mogens Palle in Denmark, who does these boxing shows. And I saw him talk to one of the boxers, so the foreigners who was fighting a Dane. And he said, it was great you called me, Mogens. I haven't been boxing for years. I completely quit. But now you called me and I could go there. And of course, well, the guy had gotten beaten up, but he got a nice trip. He got paid and such. And I think, well, typically these shows, there is like the first 10 matches. The Danes would win everything because it's a mismatch. And then there'll be like one main match that's more or less for real. But sort of, I think the starting matches is just a local beating up some professionals who goes and lose more or less.
Don't you think, Peter, that you could just dominate chess boxing?
I thought about it. I think even I have challenged both Short and Sotowski online at some point, but never getting a reply.
No, but I don't think so, because it's according to weight. I mean, like the category of chess boxing. Well, so this is kind of bad news for Peter, with all due respect.
Well, Peter is heavyweight, but then he takes everybody else, no? Like,
yeah, but well, the boxing could be a problem, no?
Yeah. Strangely, I think the one who would be the best for that would be my wife. Sounds strange.
Does sound strange.
Yeah, that sounds strange. But her father is actually, I think he's been former Lithuanian champion in his category, and apart from being a chess trainer, he's a boxing trainer. And Victoria was doing quite some boxing in her youth. I think at some point when she was told to give some very surprising fact about herself to some news channel, she was saying that she actually knew quite some boxing moves and such. So that you wouldn't think that was a problematic challenge, but I think you might be wrong.
I thought you meant as an opponent for you, and then
that was.
So there is absolutely, Peter, no chances to see you in Bundesliga, or there is some chances to see you, like, let's say the last weekend in Berlin, I guess.
I have actually, we got a circular mail asking who could play in that weekend, and I replied to it that I was free to play, and I haven't heard anything yet. So my hunch is that if they find someone else, I'm not going to play, and I think that's a good strategical decision by the captain.
Okay.
What about you, Laurent? What's your excuse?
I'm not supposed to play everything, but I'm skipping a lot of weekends. I mean, I was asked this weekend, but I couldn't make it somehow. I promised long time ago to bring one of my daughters to a badminton tournament, which looks very similar to a chess tournament, except you have you have rackets and but the rest, like you have badminton court, of course, but the rest is very similar to the chess tournament I was playing when I was young. The same organization, same people. Like parents are yelling, looking at their kids very nervously. So it's all all very similar, but that's why I couldn't make it this weekend.
Laurent's so smooth, no? He pretends to be a good dad, so we can't attack him for being a chicken skipping Bundesliga.
Yeah, exactly. I will show up a few more times in the last weekends. I'm looking forward to the last one, actually, because it will be a nice event. Generally, I don't know if it's confirmed if it's in Berlin or not, but generally we all meet up.
It's in Bremen, for your information.
I thought of
7 till 10.
Bremen.
7 till 10
5
in
rounds
Bremen.
in 4 days.
Wow,
Yes.
great. Even better. Okay. Then,
and also congratulations. I think Bremen has made it back to the Bundesliga as well, right?
in football, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not following. Okay. That's good.
They did.
Okay. Good.
Okay, we need to talk about something
Yeah.
the people care about. What's Alireza up to?
Yeah, Alireza didn't show his best in the Grand Chess Tour, but I can still sing the. Maybe Peter, you can go ahead and show your skills of singing the Marseillaise, because it was played at the end of the first tournament of the Grand Chess Tour.
Yeah, I don't think we will go to that extremes, but no, generally I finished my weekly chess column yesterday, and I think the headline was MVL's big day. That was basically his best day in chess, right? He's trailing, he's black against the now higher rated French player Alireza. He beats him with black, then he wins a playoff. He pockets 77,000 euros or something like that out of nowhere. Playing a 6-hour game, winning with black, then winning the tiebreaks, it doesn't get better than that, right? When he woke up in the morning, he couldn't really have believed that these things were going to happen. It seemed so low percentage-wise, as far as I would say.
Yeah.
Was a nice game against Alireza. No, he played a lot of fancy moves in that end game, like Rook e3 and all kinds of.
But was Rook e3 any good?
Probably
I
not.
don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't check with computer. It looked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to the evaluation, no, it was not so good. But he's incredibly good in this. He's defending and then he's finding some active counterplay. And it's where he's really, in my opinion, very impressive. Peter seems to disagree, according to how he.
I just checked the game with the computer. No, he found some resources quite late. I think Rook e3 was not as good as. It looked more fancy than good.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. No, I wanted to give an exclam for my column, but then I actually checked, turned on the computer. So.
Yeah, he's very, in a way, Maxime, we will talk about the other ones later, but MVL is very impressive at times. I can remember some night of game where, I mean, it's just his counter-attack style is just incredibly impressive. And sometimes, okay, he played this game against Aronian, I'm sure you noticed, where, I mean, only him from the top 10, because now he came back to the top 10, can lose a game like that. I mean, like, he had no clue in the openings and he's just collapsing in no time. That makes him very weird. But yeah, he needed a bit of luck. He had this luck against Rapport, where it was more or less even position, where Rapport just blundered a piece. So,
what about Aronian and So allowing him the chance to catch up? We think that was actually still reasonable strategically for them both to make a rather quick draw, or we think that was to stay in our club chickenish?
I think it was very much chickenish from Aronian, as he was white against Mamediarov, and Mamediarov had a very poor tournament, so why not to play? But from So, I mean, he just played a normal game. He was black against Dominguez, so what can you expect? I mean, he's not going to play the modern.
The previous round, to honor the Chicken Chess Club, Wesley went 7 D takes E5, exchanging everything against the King's Indian, which was nice, because he showed that against the King's Indian, if you work hard enough, you can also force a draw. It's safe now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, seriously speaking, that's how he does things. No, he wasn't going to go crazy trying to beat Ali Reza. It's who he is.
Yeah, he didn't want Alieza to come back because he was 1 point ahead of him. So it's clear. So you were asking me, how is Alieza? It's clear that Alieza wanted to get some practice. He played every game till the end, but with a very poor result. But to his credit, in a way, we can see that all the future candidates, they did incredibly poorly, actually. Like Rapport finished last with -2, Nepo and Alieza finished with -1, and Fabi finished with 50%.
50%.
Which, I mean, you would expect those players to do much more points. So, any relation with the candidates coming up? I guess so. What do you think, Peter?
No, it was very surprising to me, no doubt, to see that the 4 candidates ending up like that, and that Caruana will end highest rank at the candidates would have been my guess that he would do it by making 50%. Is somewhat shocking, and also among those 4, except for them, who is left? It's Ding. It's Duda, it's Radjabov, and pardon my French, who's the last one? It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I drew a blank there, but my general feeling is that, Alireza and Caruana together with Ding is the favorite. So actually this isn't by no means, this was sort of what we call the outsiders of the candidates playing here. It's like Nakamura. It's the sort of the favorite to some extent. I would say that it's more likely that one of these 4 would win than one of the other 4s. Because Ding is the other part, it maybe becomes close. But so it was quite shocking to see that. But as we have spoken before, when Caruana won the candidates, he actually had a very bad sort of premiere in a way. And it's easy to forget. Now, with Magnus being most likely out of the cycle, it's clear that the candidate takes up more mental space even for me. But for those who care about these things, one has to remember how extremely important it is that their mind is probably that candidates is coming up very soon and such. Then it's very distracting, and for many of them, it's a very new experience and such. Only I think Caruana has experience like that, right? So, you can understand it that their mind to some extent is elsewhere.
There's gonna be this narrative, which I usually think is nonsense, that people are hiding their prep for the candidates, therefore they aren't doing so well. I never really believe in that. First of all, hiding prep sounds a bit like an old thing, because everyone's using the same engine. So if you have an idea that might get you a good position against a strong player, you will usually use it. But I do believe that their work schedules will be very adjusted to peak at the candidates. So maybe, I'm not sure what the program is, but maybe they thought, okay, this is getting some practice tournament, and after that we go into serious work mode. I'm not sure. Rapport, for example, he plays Norway chess as well, So there, my story doesn't quite apply. But usually, that's what people say, that they don't want to show their candidates openings. Usually, I don't quite believe it.
I disagree with you actually. I think it's the next month, so why to play? I mean, like, I don't think Alireza against Petrov he will play e4, e5, bishop c4. I mean, I don't think it's anywhere close to his prep for the candidates. But there are different cases. Let's say Rapport won't have many preps in the candidates. It's my guess. Nepo has his prep from the World Championship match. And Fabi and Alireza, I think they would, if they have some ideas, let's say, I don't know, in Petrov, they're not going to play it for this event. I mean, that's pretty clear to me, but maybe I'm
No,
wrong.
that part I might agree with. I don't think they have any big ideas in the Petrov yet. They might come up with something. First of all, Petrov, pretty good. There's always this story that people have this hidden big novelty they're saving for the candidates. And we really see it, I don't know, once every 5 years, and then usually against Maxime in the Najdorf, right? Like, when's the last bomb that hit the Petrov?
Yeah, I mean, we played some game in. Sorry, Peter. I know you want it. You make it clear. It's pity we're not filmed, actually. But whatever. Peter Heine Nielsen has to say something. Has something to say. I see on my screen. You're missing the big fun here. But look, I mean, we had some idea. I mean, like, we tried something in the match. Okay, it didn't work out, but that was something he wouldn't show in the months before, let's say, Magnus. We had this idea.
Which idea is that? 92?
No, the first game.
Ah, the first one.
Yeah, the first one. I mean,
sure.
it was like Nepo knew the solution, but basically it was. I thought it was a good try. I mean, it didn't work out, but it was a good try. So Peter, go ahead, please.
Yeah, well, I'll go back to, I think I was reading interviews with Kramnik back 14 years ago, and he was saying that, well, you need to have some kind of mix that, well, obviously you don't want to play all your prep, but also playing none of it gives also away a lot of info. If you sort of, well, if they can just say, okay, now he played the Grunfeld, so he's not going to play the Grunfeld in the match. Well, Kramnik did play the Grunfeld before Vishy and not doing the match to sort of misinform in a way, but that there has to be some kind of mix. And if you look at Magnus, for instance, in the World Cup, which was 2-3 months before the match, he did play a few Catalans, which he's never played before. And, well, you can argue maybe it wasn't a great idea to draw attention to that, but he played so many other things, so it also becomes suspicious if you don't do it. I don't think it was done particularly in a strategic sense. It was just that for that match, I think against Yesipenko, it felt reasonable to do it. And I think also with the Duda, for instance, Magnus was playing some marshals and such, which then... But also, we sound like everything is decided by the players by now. I mean, by my experience, they probably have, maybe I will do this, maybe do that. And, well, I think sort of, they might not know it for real yet, in a way. So I think it becomes a lot of a mix, and that, well, let's say, if you have some kind of bumps, you will not do it, or let's say if you decided to do Catalan like Magnus, you will not do it consequently before to some extent. Maybe, well, if we go from the previous match of Magnus, maybe knight e5 against this topical Catalan, it would be strange to do because it's obviously a one-game attempt that was very important structurally for Magnus' repertoire. So that would have been weird to do.
So you think that
other things would be less important.
So you are comparing this prep for candidates to a World Championship match prep. I never helped anyone actually to prepare for candidates, as Magnus keeps.
Or World Championships.
Yeah. No, I have more experience in World Championship match, obviously, and yeah. So you think it's more, it's closer? I think it depends for whom. You think the candidates prep is closer to a World Championship match prep, which let's say you have to prepare for everything basically.
No.
Or to
well, I've only been at
candidates.
one candidates, but I was with 2 tournaments for Vishy for the World Championship, and of course, well, what Vishy did when he won in 2007 was quite impressive. Well, for the white games, we looked at Petrov. We basically thought this is hopeless, and Vishy said, yeah, but only Kramnik and Gelfand will play the Petrov. Okay. Of course, this was his 2 first white games, it was a disaster, but then he kicked ass in the remaining white games. And there you can decide that some problems we will just have to live with, while in a match, well, if you play e4 and you play the same guy, he might just play the Petrov all the time. So there is some different things to that extent, I'm pretty sure. So I get your point, but I really think it depends on which kind of idea it is, and also if it's idea with an opening you play anyway, or if you have a completely new concept prepared. I think that would be a bit stupid to ruin the surprise value.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just fighting back against the notion that everyone months in advance has all these ideas and opening repertoires that they don't touch for half a year. Then so much is decided last minute in the moment, and also if something is shown, things are a bit different than 2008 or whenever, because the engine's first line will usually be correct. So the surprise value of people having to figure out something out during a tournament is really gone after you played it once. Like.
And I also agree with the point Jan made that, name a game that was decided by opening ideas in the recent World Championship matches. It's there's not a lot of that. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Simply.
I mean, yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay.
So, what else do we have on that tournament? Yeah, I don't think it's any reason to panic for the candidates. I was a bit worried to see Rapport in that shape, because I think in great shape he can be great even in the candidates. But we talked about it before sometimes. He says at least that he doesn't like playing chess that much, and now he has Norway chess coming up as well. And then the candidates, it's a rough schedule for him who doesn't play.
Yeah,
so
he said that he planned to not to qualify for the candidates, so he planned his usual tournaments without candidates, but then actually qualified rather easily. Yeah, it's not disaster, I agree, because if we look at the three co-winners, I mean, like they made the +2, and they are worse. I mean, like they could be the next on the line for candidates. I would say that if MVL, Aonian or So would qualify, nobody would say anything. That would have been very, very normal, and they already played candidates, so no, it was a very even. I mean, like very, very strong tournament, and really the top classical tournament of the year. So.
yeah, the ratings are more or less the same, no give or take, but everyone's around whatever 27, 75, and maybe the guys more focused on that tournament, or with having less distractions with the candidates, had a small edge. But it could be the same players next week, and it ends completely differently, like so many.
Yeah, it's a small. It's of course a small. I mean, like a big one. Comeback for MVL, who had a disaster in this Grand Prix, and now is winning this tournament, and now coming back to the top 10. So yeah, it's good for him, and we'll see more of him, I guess.
I think Jan is making a pretty good point that, maybe let's exclude Magnus from it, but else the top 10, 15. It's rather equal in the sense of everyone of them could actually win a tournament that they show up.
No,
right?
there is one who cannot win a tournament. We know it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Jan, you do feel uncomfortable with this small...
No, I disagree. Mamedyarov won plenty of tournaments. So.
Yeah, we agree.
That is true.
Yeah.
No, yeah, fair enough. We can go in that direction a bit later, maybe. But that sort of that MVL suddenly just wins the tournament. It's not like we don't think it's a major surprise.
But sometimes he just wins a tournament. No, even when it looked like he wasn't in good shape, he won this. I don't remember tournament names. He won the Sinkefield Cup and he won something last year. Which
he won mainly in Rapid and Blitz. I think the only...
No, but also Classical.
Classical, it's Sinkefield Cup, but it was 2017. I don't think he won any tournament since in Classical. I mean, like any major tournament. Because at some point it was kind of... I mean, like now I have Jan googling it. But maybe he won another one, but I don't think so. I could be wrong, of course.
MVL wins the 2021 Sinkefield Cup.
So that was another classical tournament, yeah?
Wow, ever since Ali Reza arrived, you completely stopped following our boy MVL. It's just shocking.
Okay, but it was a bit weaker, to my credit.
MVL, Caruana, Dominguez, So, Rapport, Zhong, Mamedyarov, Shankland, Svidler, Svirch, a bit weaker, but
weaker.
Not weak.
It was not... if Giri would win that tournament, we would call it not a top tournament, super tournament, for sure.
Sinkefield is Sinkefield.
Sinkefield, okay. No, of course. So he won, but he doesn't win many tournaments. Let's
So he doesn't win every super tournament.
No, he won a couple of
15
tournaments.
Is your criticism?
Like it's the third
I
one.
understand.
Like really
But
top.
that's basically the point. There is so many competing for it that also to win a bunch, you basically have to be Magnus. Or
Yeah.
maybe
Who won more than 3 super tournaments the last 5 years? Not named Magnus or FIDE.
Yeah,
No,
maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
Ding started to win.
I don't think he did.
Ding hasn't played, so it's.
Yeah, but not that's 5 years.
No.
But I think he won Single-Field Cup before this
He
pandemic.
won the tiebreaks against Magnus once, but what else did he win? I don't think
I
so.
remember he won. Didn't he win just before the pandemics? He won in London.
And he beat
Shenzhen, no, Giri won that one, right?
Veillé in a match. So
Anyway, I'm not sure we're adding value for our listeners
Yeah.
right now.
and it's a good transition actually. We can talk about Champion Chess Tour coming up. Chessable Masters. You will do
Fantastic transition.
you will do commentaries, right, Jan?
I think so, yeah. In English, at least some of the days. Looking forward to it. Magnus and Mr. Ding, as usual. I'm extremely well prepared. I've looked in great detail at all 16 players. Could you remind me who else is playing?
I noticed Mishra, so this is the youngest grandmaster. I noticed Sam as well. But this is a bit weird to see Ding playing, no? Is it only me? I mean, like he played this marathon 30 games, and now there's candidates in 1 month, and he's playing another online event, which is, of course, I mean, it's a nice event, but it's nothing special compared to candidates, obviously, no? Isn't?
Sounds nice to play. I mean, well, also what are his other options? The only thing is that probably it's not great for his daily rhythm in a way. But
Yeah, he can rest and prepare. I mean, like, and not wake up at 5 a.m. to play, or 1 a.m. and sleep at 5 a.m. to play some chess and blunder.
But some practice, some online games, like you could argue if it's good or bad. No, we've done so before with Magnus playing before the World Championship match and so on. And my sources say that Ding is a night owl anyway, so he doesn't mind playing in the middle of the night.
Really?
He's not like Laurent, who's up at 7 a.m. and goes to sleep at night.
you actually have sources on Ding's
I think it's just
daily routines?
He's making that happen.
Very much so.
That's why you
Ask anybody.
come on.
I was at a training camp with Ding, so was Laurent. I didn't notice that he was a night owl.
No.
Yeah, because you guys go to sleep early. How would you notice?
We see him at breakfast, so you're saying he just doesn't need a lot of sleep.
I don't know. My story's falling apart, but I seriously did hear that he stays up late, which is pretty much everybody's behavior. If you're a chess player, especially if you don't have a family, people stay up late. No, like I barely know any that get up early and go to sleep early.
What I can confirm is that Ding is a very good basketball player, actually. This surprised me a bit, but I mean, he's not big, but he's sort of strategically is very good. I was very much enjoying being teammates with him.
So you ran the pick and roll with Ding. Ding is the ball handler. You set a screen and roll to the basket.
Exactly. I mean, no, I was very impressed with his moves there, like that. I just had to stand there and be tall, and Ding would do the rest.
Yeah, he was very fast.
No.
I remember.
Yeah.
I couldn't see the ball anymore. That was way too fast for me. I remember that.
I'm not surprised.
If we do a basketball team of 2 chess players, we definitely have to bring Ding.
You remember that he got in this camp, he got injured after one football game? You don't remember that?
I think you are not allowed to reveal things that could make Magnus look bad, so we are crossing the...
So Peter accidentally leaks the training camp with Ding, and now he's saying you can't reveal who got hurt in the training camp with Ding.
I think it's not a secret there is a training camp.
He got hurt. I mean,
Not anymore.
No, that is true.
like, you have to be careful, when you play soccer with the Norwegian people, Norwegian guys.
But
it's pretty tough. I mean, you have to be ready for the game. I mean, it's game on, and you play. There's also some physical action. Yeah, I mean, like.
I prophylactically hurt my back in the last training camp to avoid the soccer action. Like, it's too much, you idiots! In like 40 degrees in the sun, you're out there running around for 4 hours on some ash court. Like, it's madness.
It's nice.
But maybe that's why Magnus is in such great shape.
Yeah. That's true.
something like that. Well, we're actually speaking about the upcoming tournament, and you guys were sort of flashing that you're doing commentary, as far as I understand. But
No, Jan is doing.
well, actually, sorry?
Jan is doing.
I'm doing some days here.
I
Yeah.
have to go
okay.
to Roland Garros, French Open. I'm super busy. I have to watch some games.
No one busier than
Yeah.
you. I'm checking the lineup now. Jordan is in. Anish is in. Wei Yi. Vidit. Schenkland. Will be fun. Eric Hansen, who does shockingly well in these events.
Yeah.
What's the secret, Eric?
It's
For me, it's just so strange to type in Hansen when I'm preparing, because that I have been doing basically all my career, and now I have to do it again. But due to a Canadian, any Danish chess competitor rival of mine has been.
Who's your favorite Hansen? Kurt Hansen, Eric Hansen, Suneberg Hansen.
Lars Bo Hansen. I mean, there's many. There. It's yeah. All good
Sorry, last boy. Should have been on the list.
all good guys. And such. No, it's just, I mean, I think I have played in a Danish national team match at the Olympiad where everybody except me was named Hansen. I'm pretty sure. So,
But you are the most handsome.
well, I would disagree if I could, but I think it's changing the subject
I don't know.
a bit. No, I'm desperately trying. I mean, you guys want to talk about this tournament and what
Not
you're
really.
doing. Well, it should be mentioned that I'm actually Magnus's coach and will going with him to the tournament. But
The Champions Chess Tour? It's an online tournament. Or
Yeah,
is it not?
but again, as I will be excused of giving away confidential information, I'm pretty sure Magnus will be playing it from a location where I will also be present, and which is going to be revealed probably.
Oh, poor
no
Peter
weekend
has to go to Oman or the Seychelles and prepare Magnus for half an hour every day before
Again, even
swimming time.
from my perspective, even better place.
Okay, that must be
Suspicious.
vacancy.
I like Vigan.
Yeah, I know.
Kragerø.
No,
Kragerø. Oh. May I join you in Kragerø? No, just no, but it's interesting. I don't know if it's a choice from Champion Chess Tour to have this mixed fields or just the top players. Most of the top players are declining the invitation because there is too many tournaments. I guess it's a bit of a mix, but it makes it, to me at least, to have this field, you know, with these young guys. Hey, Carlsen, why not streamers? You know, people you don't see much in these top tournaments. Niels, it's interesting, or Ian Tai, Gawain John. I mean, this mixed fields makes it more interesting to me. I mean, to follow.
Would you say watching Niels is always interesting and fun?
Yeah, yeah, to see how he's doing. I mean, like, I'm sure for people they are discovering new players who generally, I mean, like, they have a lot of troubles. I mean, because it's tough. But it's interesting, no?
Yeah. No, I should explain before people think we make fun of Niels. We've been around Niels a lot,
Yeah.
and he is annoyingly optimistic. And usually any chess stuff he likes to say, playing chess is always interesting and fun, no matter how it goes, which of course is very contrary to my worldview. But it's an impressive attitude, and I think he means it. He just enjoys the game.
He actually likes playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he likes playing, he likes analyzing, he likes eating early. I mean, many things. I mean, like, he likes sleeping long. I mean, he likes Niels.
He needs his 10 hours.
No, that Niels is our boy. He's our boy, of course.
Yeah,
we like
but
Niels.
this idea of having a mixed field, I think, well, some also praised Vagancy for that it gives a more competitive tournament in a way and such, right? I mean, sometimes if it's a very even field and no one is really breaking free, then somehow it can be very centered around 50%, right? While with a mixed field, there will be more decisive games and becomes more dynamic in a way and such. I think Vagancy works well in terms of having the world elite there and then some who is not necessarily world elite to sort of unbalance things a bit.
Yeah, and that.
How do you think this guy Mishra is gonna do? Is he gonna get roughed up? It's tough to play this for the first time. I would guess. I've never played.
I have no clue. I mean, I don't know. I saw the controversy about him. I mean, like, the controversy, first of all, he became the youngest grandmaster. I saw this tweet from Nippo at the time. He complained about that he was playing like in Budapest, but it was a pandemic time, so you didn't have many options. always the same players or something like that. So, but I mean, his games, I actually never saw. While our producer saying that it's not his first time, so I guess he didn't do that well for his first time. If we didn't even.
Sorry, of course. Yeah, he played. Yeah, he had a rough time. Yeah. Apologies.
Peter, do you know more about him or?
Not a lot, no. Again, I will use the usual excuse that my focus is preparing for Magnus's opponents, and he hasn't appeared a lot there. So, I mean, well, I will have a look when it's time, and it's time rather soon in that sense. But no, I cannot add much of value there.
Yeah, do we have any inside infos, Peter? News from Magnus? Good shape? Good mood?
No, not much. I mean, yeah, generally good mood, but well, fantasy season is sort of coming to a close, and Jon Ludvig Hammer has made a astonishing comeback. And
what he's behind? I mean, like Hammer is head of.
Yeah. Hammer is leading the grandmaster league in football.
That's bad.
This is
That's very bad. Okay.
Yeah. So that's well, we can still hope, but he's definitely the favorite.
Also, Peter made a very, very surprising comeback in our fantasy basketball league.
That is true.
Peter doesn't know much about basketball. He tends to pick only Lithuanian players, buys them for way too high prices. But then he started crushing everybody in the second half. That was amazing.
I started beating Magnus, then I lost 8 matches in a row.
Yeah,
basically somehow came back and only lost the final. I mean,
that was.
This is very puzzling because
comeback.
I mean, some of you guys would certainly take a player I've never ever heard about before who turned out to be pretty good and such. So, no, this is. But I'm definitely into fantasy football, basketball a bit less because it's too difficult for me. But we'll see. Yeah.
So we had. Let's move on. Yeah. We had a private conversation which you wanted to make public, Peter. I think. It was about French team in Olympiad. You had some.
Who's playing? Is Ali Reza playing?
No, we didn't. I mean, it's not public. It's not public. So I mean, I hope Ali Reza is playing. But
are you playing?
They want to announce it. Yeah, but I mean, like Peter, I don't know what he was.
No, well, I think that there was some debate about. Well, if France is sending its best team, and it turns out that. Laurent is 26-30 and Lagarde is 26-28, right? And I think that they are fighting for the 5th spot.
Where's Jules Moussard?
He's 26-70.
Wow.
Moussard, Bacro, and the two guys.
Yeah, but do you think it's only about numbers? I mean, really? I mean, it was our conversation. I mean, where I disagree with you. I mean, like, you only look at numbers, but you don't look at the. I mean, like the team or who has to play. I mean, like, let's say a reserve. When you have 2 very strong, or let's say 3 very strong players, then you need a solid guy, for instance. I don't know. I mean, like, or team spirit, that doesn't matter to you. Yeah, it's only numbers, and you put people one.
No, not at all. I mean, well, if we're talking about a
Peter's
player,
favorite movie is Moneyball. He only cares about numbers.
I do care about numbers, but there have to be certain factors. But well, Laurent is trying to portray that. Him being a chicken and being old is qualities, and well, that I have to admit I disagree with.
No, he's also great for the team spirit. No, he's beloved by everyone. Makes sure everyone's well rested, well prepared, doesn't party too much.
On the contrary, I mean, he's an old guy who doesn't care too much about results, and doesn't have to play. He will go drinking with them.
I have 2 words which will annoy Peter: social skills. And now you will hate me forever. I have to prepare the. I have to be a mental coach for Jan, who will hate the tournament after 1 week, maybe.
No, not at all. I'm always happy when I don't have to play. You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be fine.
No, but look at it. I mean, the French team always seems to have a good time, but they don't win anything. While the Germans, I mean, well, you are basically killing each other, but you're actually European champions, right?
Well, it's been 11 years. No, France came very close to winning the last Olympiad.
Yeah.
But you want to say something to Peter that would make him hate you, so I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, just social skills. I just remind to Peter, and he doesn't like it.
So the basic tension underlying this relationship. We're all friends, but Laurent doesn't respect Peter's social skills, and Peter doesn't respect Laurent's intellect. So there's always like a bit of tension there. Not much, but
Well,
it is there.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't. I would disagree. I mean, like, okay, yeah, no, I think it's true that Peter doesn't respect my intellect, and for my case, I'm not very objective, so I'm pretty subjective. So, yeah, no, I mean, you made that point. Like,
That is a strong statement in my opinion. But,
thank you.
Do you disagree?
yeah, to some extent.
I'm just trying to stir up nonsense. Apologies.
Yeah,
It's true
I
though.
would say so. I mean,
Okay, so yeah, so main topic of the now we should move to the main topic of the podcast, right? Jan.
we have already
So-
done with the.
I don't
first
know.
team.
I just threw Peter off guard with this. I'm not sure if he's ready for what's wrong with FIDE.
We
this
can
week.
have a nap.
Okay.
We can get a coffee, have a nap, and come back. Go ahead, Peter.
Okay. I'm gonna start with Vishy, or
Please.
okay.
Like
Well-
your coaching career.
Sorry.
Your coaching career, you also started with Vishy.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, I mean, of course, the big news in FIDE is that Vishy Anand, the former world champion, I think, are we talking 5 or 6 times? 5 times probably, right?
Yeah.
World champion is running as the deputy president on Arkady Dvorkovic's tickets. And well, one has to understand that deputy president is what normally called vice president. It means that if the president resigns, then this one automatically becomes the president. Then FIDE also has something called vice presidents, but I think currently they have 12 of those. I'm not going to comment on that. I'm just explaining that deputy president is the second person within the FIDE system, and Vishy has chosen to be that for Dvorkovic, and that of course is big news. Vishy is, in my opinion, incredibly respected in the chess world, and it's a scoop for Dvorkovic having him on his ticket, and especially as the election is going to happen on India, that's going to big boost, and now it becomes even more likely that Dvorkovic is gonna win for sure. So that is one thing.
It's a
Then-
big improvement, let's say, from the last deputy president he had for the last election, which was my French colleague, Bachar Quatli. So I think it's. I would just add that.
Yeah, I have also been earlier been tweeting somewhat aggressively towards Koyatli, but it's basically Laurent who told me to do so, just to give away that info. But back to Vishy. Well, I think on the last podcast I stated that I will always defend Vishy, so I can start by doing that at least. I think it's very logical from Vishy's perspective. When I started working for Vishy and sort of hoping that he would become world champion, it was clear that Russia had a strong political influence in the chess world. Vishy had difficulties getting matches and being heard chess politically. I think we maybe all remember how it was in the Prague agreement that, well, this was played in a tournament in Prague, with Vishy actually won the event, but sort of chess politically he got very, very little. And it was obviously a huge motivating factor for me to help Vishy become a world champion, despite his sort of doing badly in chess politics. And I think Vishy understands very clear that in FIDE, Russia is the one calling the shots, and aligning himself with Russia right now is a way to get a lot of political chess influence. And chess is big in India, and it's very logical from that perspective.
So first question, sorry, just to interrupt you, but no, just 1 minute. So why did he get less than other people in Prague agreement? And later on, I don't think he got anything less than. I mean, it was more or less fair. He had to play this after this reunification.
Well, reunification, he had to win a FIDE World Championship tournament, but Kramnik was playing the tournament, but guaranteed a rematch, for instance. the years
Also,
before
probably
that,
having to win this World Cup and then to play rested Karpov in the finals,
that
he
was
wasn't
before.
thrilled
was
about.
also ridiculous. Then there was like
Yeah.
10 years where Vishy was close to being the best chess player in the world, except for Kasparov, and he didn't get a shot at the title. He really had tough times there. I think. Well, Vishy became the world champion 5 times, but probably not when he was the strongest of his. It was it's very weird in that, but that Vishy was not treated very well. At least was the worldview I had at the time, which I still share, and was extremely motivating in terms of that. Well, also I think we understood that. Well, let's say he doesn't win the tournament in 2007, then there will be maybe a Kramnik to Topalov rematch, and well, you can forget about getting back to the title within a certain amount of years and such. But well, having said these things, of course, I disagree strongly with Vishy supporting Dvorkovic. That's not a secret, and I will say that. Like in 2013, in the match with Vishy and Carlsen, I was neutral. But in 2014, he knew I was coaching Carlsen, and if he showed, and then if he qualified again, he knew that we would be on different teams. And a bit the same here as a joke. Well, I'm still friendly with Vishy after this World Champion matches, so I hope I will be still here. But well, I disagree. I think the chess world should not have a Russian leadership and such. But I think Vishy thinks it's going to be great for Indian chess and perhaps also good for chess in general to keep Dvorkovic. And I can understand these points, but well, my point of view is that chess should separate itself from Russian influence, and now is absolutely the right time to do
So
it.
you think it's that's the main motivation of Vishy, huh? To chess is good for chess and good for India, or what?
Well, I think for sure that he cares a lot about India, and rightly so. And well, that if you want to do things with chess and with FIDE, it has to be in connection with that. And I think also he understands that it's by far the most likely that Dvorkovic is gonna win, and then well, that's where the power and influence lies.
It's actually very impressive. All the money they found in no time to organize the Olympiad. I mean, I don't know what the budget of maybe you know better because you are checking FIDE accounts on a daily basis, Peter.
10 million.
10 million. Okay. So that's impressive to find this kind of money so quickly. I don't think many countries can do that.
It depends. I mean, Norway also found them and such, but
Germany just found 10 billion to support our poor automobile drivers because the prices went up. So we quickly found 10 billion for that, which puts other numbers we're talking about.
In state budget, it's not a lot, and also Indian state budget, we're talking plus 1 billion. I mean, well, it is not an absurd amount of monies to that extent, and I think well, it's going to be an incredibly huge event in Chennai with a lot of attention and such. I'm sure they can make a lot of sponsors and such. I mean, you remember during the online Olympiads how much attention he actually created in the Indian media. Imagine how much it's going to be when it's actually happening in India and such. That I think, well, for chess world maybe 10 millions is a lot, but I think for the sort of general
the
sports
administrative
world,
region of Chennai or whatever it is, it's probably
I think it's,
doable. But
yeah.
still, it's nice to have anybody stepping up because you need money to have these events. So back to elections, Peter. Then, if you're not supporting the Dvorkovic ticket, do you support Fiume? Who are you supporting?
I'm not really supporting anyone. There is no one.
So you'll stick to your position. You just root against whoever's in charge.
Yeah, thanks for that. I hope there still will be other candidates and such.
There are some rumors, no, that someone would show up last minute.
Well, there's numerous rumors actually, but I don't have that many sources. I'm sort of somewhat disconnected in a way. But well, Fiume has presented his ticket. He's running with, I think, Stuart Fancy, if I remember correctly. And well, even Fiume is being critical of Dvorkovic's tickets consists of 5 persons, and he says according to the rules it can be only 2. I mean, Dvorkovic is also with a Norwegian and with I think Shushen as treasurer.
Shushen, Göran was on there.
Yeah, and I think Mamadov from Azerbaijan, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And Fiume was criticizing that, and Fiume is also speaking out against Russian influence and more focus on the smaller countries and such. I have to admit, I don't know him much, except for that he was part of Dvorkovic's ticket the last time. So if they are still reasonably close, or if they have had some kind of fight since that, I'm not really aware.
I have a scenario to offer you, Peter, and tell me if you are happy with that or not. Let's say Dvorkovic cannot run because Russia is sanctioned, and so Vishy decides just to take it from there and run for FIDE president himself and keep the same team. Let's say replace Dvorkovic with, I don't know, anyone else. Would you be happy about that?
Well,
would you support, or the same ticket without the Dvorkovic?
Generally not. I think also, the problem is that things has been built around that, Dvorkovic is Russian, but also, the sort of, you can say, infrastructure. The money has been coming from Russian sponsors used to pay for employees and such. I would better have a more general shake-up so that we actually cut the ties to Russia to that extent. But, of course, it's a great thing having Vishy there, that he will be the next president if so. And, of course, it also makes the ticket much more acceptable that should Dvorkovic end up being sanctioned, then we know who's going to be there, and it's someone who's going to be very well respected and such. So I understand this logic, but generally no. I would like to see a complete change, because I think we have to distance ourselves.
And did you expect? You know Vishy very well, of course. And did you expect him to be at some point like this? To become deputy, because the FIDE deputy president? Because I thought he didn't like these political games, and it was boring for him, and I didn't really expect to see him there.
Me neither.
Okay.
Where does he stand on transparency?
This we haven't thought much about, unfortunately. I somehow got more into transparency in the last 9 years and such. So I don't know. It's a good question. We can offer him to come on the podcast and answer these.
Yeah, you can do some
scrutinizing questions.
You think? Objectively speaking, like let's say they win the election, which is the most likely. So you will keep tweeting, I guess. You think you will remain friends with Vishy? It was too much happening between you guys, or at some point he will just, he will just say, okay, this guy is just incredibly annoying. And
I hope so.
You hope so.
What do you want to say? Well, we worked on different teams in a World Championship match that, was not what we really intended to. We both assumed that the cooperation we had would last till the end of our careers, but Vishy just kept winning, and somehow at some point we went in separate directions. I really hope that friendships can be separated from some kind of being in different teams. At least that's my intention.
What about your friendship with Laurent? Once you're on different teams, will you keep hanging out?
I don't know, but
you will have to pay for my company.
Yeah, I understand.
That's the main issue.
I think that's how it is in the chess world. You end up and in the sports world in general, you end up at different teams at times. But that's how it is. Politics, of course, is a bit different, but not really, I would say.
All right.
Anything else I have to be roasted about in the FIDE world? Or?
I don't know enough to roast you about FIDE. I have to prepare for more critical questioning.
No, but when is the deadline? The deadline is quite soon, so we'll have a clear picture.
I think 7th of June, again, just to show that I care about details.
Yeah.
But
nice.
Yeah, there is some rumors of a Ukrainian challenger, and that, of course, would be interesting and give the chess world a very clear choice, in my opinion. That, I think, would be good. Of course, Kasparov warning would be excellent, but as far as I can see, there's no indications in that. But I think Kasparov would be an excellent candidate.
He seems to like Dvorkovic, actually. He's not... Yeah, it seems to... that was my impression. Since Dvorkovic is elected, we don't hear about him. Okay, of course, he's busy with... we all know what, but still, he was making a lot of negative commentary in the past, which he doesn't do anymore. So, yeah.
No, not to that extent. Also... Kasparov might have given up on the chess world, and that of course can be argued also that chess world is rather unimportant
Yeah.
in these terms. So maybe it matters less. But even so.
All right, more FIDE next week.
That's for sure.
Guaranteed.
What else do we have? We have some questions. Let's see, what do we have here? Which opening best describes your characters? Oof. I don't know. For me, I would think King's Gambit, probably.
Yeah, for Radio Jan. It's been a while. I didn't see Radio Jan.
Yeah. He'll make a comeback.
Yeah, it's difficult.
No, for me, of course, it's the Marshal. You pretend to be aggressive and fun, but you really just want to force a draw and go home.
I'm really enjoying the Berlin actually. So yeah, I enjoy analyzing the Berlin. I mean, I think the pawn structure in the end game is very interesting. You have bishops. I mean, it's very. I think the Berlin. Let's face it. I think the Berlin endgame is very exciting.
The Berlin.
The Berlin.
What are we talking about? Our personal character or our chess characters?
They're intertwined.
Maybe. Are you sure always?
Yeah.
But,
I think so, but not 100% sure. Anyway, we're talking about your personal character.
yeah. I was more preparing for the FIDE questions, but I would probably go for something like Catalan, but basically something that only goes for, let's say, very moderate gains, but is very healthy and has long-term perspective, and sort of has a very realistic approach to what's possible rather than gambling for bigger things. So I'm trying to, quite modest, but also very healthy, I would say.
That's very that's
Wow.
very modest.
That's
of
how you
you.
see yourself.
That's very modest.
Modest, but
Yeah.
very healthy.
No, not on a personal level, but more in sort of a strategic choice. I mean, I'm not trying to be very successful, but also you try to not completely gamble your future away in a way, sort of.
Well, we're chickens,
I mean,
so we do try to.
I never bought bitcoins
prioritize
because I didn't
survival.
really believe. I didn't understand it. I thought that could go wrong and such, right?
Never. Only goes up.
Yes. yeah. Okay.
Disclaimer: not financial advice.
No. Fair enough.
What else do we have?
Yeah, I mean, who is the most disliked
Rasmus
in the
Petersen.
top 100? I mean, of course, the Joker. Who is the most disliked player in the top 100?
The truth is probably it's the most famous guys. No, I would say it's Carlsen, Giri, Nakamura. I'm not sure in what order. I would think Magnus, because he's world champion, he's more liked than disliked, but he's also more famous, so there will be some haters.
Yeah.
Is this just someone that is disliked by more people than liked, or is it just absolute numbers?
Absolute numbers, I guess, yeah? Oh, I don't know.
Then it has to be these three. You can rank them. I'm very curious what Laurent's ranking would look like.
Yeah. No, I mean...
Yeah, it also depends. Is someone who
Ali
you
Reza?
dislike or-
Ali Reza's
yeah,
up
no,
there.
I don't think Ali Reza is.
But it's probably not disliked yet.
I mean, yeah, maybe
No.
it starts a bit, yeah?
We know one hater, but we can't reveal him.
At some point, I mean, again, if I can jump back in history, of course it was Topalov.
Yeah.
But he's kind of recovered quite a bit, I would say. But I mean, go back. I don't know. That'll be around 15 years, right? 16 years. That would be an easy answer. But these days it's more.
but he's out of the public eye now, no?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm sure that. Well, Magnus is so popular that, he's so well known that there might be some who likes him and some who dislikes him. I will take a gamble and say number 17, Kayakin, actually is going to win the prize.
That's true, actually.
Yeah,
I
that's
forgot
fair.
about
Yeah,
him.
I didn't even think of it.
Of course. Yeah. Now it's very, very, very clear, of course.
Yeah.
And the second part of the question was the Korchnoi Award, who was very famous, Korchnoi, to yell at you if you would win a game or to yell at people.
But says the player who unconsciously has insulted the most players. Korchnoi very consciously insults people. No,
God, no, I mean.
Yeah, but he said, let's call it a Korchnoi.
Actually, Korchnoi, I think, unconsciously offended me because, I played him in Norway, and I thought he's going to offend me after the game. But he was speaking very nicely to me, which very much gives away he has absolutely no respect for your chess.
Yeah.
So
I also
that-
played him once and with a friendly post-mortem and so on. It was no good.
basically thinks that you're not worth the...
Yeah, he
Exactly.
actually insulted me a very bad way a few times because I beat him many times.
You're
I'm sorry about
showing
that.
up, showing
He
up.
was saying I'm an idiot and so on. So sorry guys, but he had more respect from my. And then he was writing. I mean, like it was. I played some classical game and also some rapid games, and he even asked me for the games because he couldn't find them in the database, and he was preparing a book about the French defense, and he thought it was interesting to include both of them. So I write them down.
This is very unbelievable to me.
And gave
but
him. He was happy.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I had a half time with him, clearly. But now this kind of it was very unique, no? That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. I don't know who. There's no one who is sort of really trash talkers in the.
I'm studying the top 100,
So am I, but
yeah, that's no name.
I
that
actually I
jumps
did
out,
it before
right?
the show because I'm preparing the show, unlike you guys. But
Of course. So who do you have?
no, I mean I don't.
Well, trash talkers like Levon
Yeah.
maybe a bit, but mainly also in person, right? It's not like he'll be,
yeah, he's also.
and it's usually good-natured, or at least from.
I think
would
he's
think so.
mainly trying to be funny. You know.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't. Yeah, I'm not mainly. I'm not sure if it's mainly, but.
Nakamura, of course, had a reputation, but I don't know. It seemed I haven't interacted with him much. He always seemed very mellow. Recently, I think he's happy where he is with his stuff.
I agree. I mean, I remember again, plus 10 years back, I was kind of annoyed at Nakamura and thought he was sort of, the enemy and such. But it turned out when you met him in person, he was very friendly, and when he spoke about politics, you seemed to agree and such. I mean, it was difficult to somehow upkeep.
That's always the way into Peter's heart. If you share any of his political positions, you're in.
Yep. Fair enough. No, I just. I mean.
No, I'm actually not trying to dodge the answer. I don't know if there's
No.
anybody very hated or talking a lot of crap. Magnus talks quite a bit of crap, but he's not hated, I think, because he's so good. Like, being good also helps.
Yeah.
Ali
no,
Reza, I think, has potential to become a new supervillain, but he's not there yet.
If anything, the chess world lacks it a bit, sort of. I mean, there's not this, Kramnik, Topalov kind of tension and stuff like this.
Yeah.
in a way. I don't know. I mean,
Let's move on.
we can.
Let's move on.
There's-
What else do we
you
have?
want- I don't.
Which top 20 GM do you consider the most likely not to be able to swim? That's an excellent
We had
question.
this- yeah.
I disagree.
You disagree? That it's an excellent question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Magnus can swim. We've seen
Yeah.
it. Ding, you guys hung out with Ding. You probably know.
He's very sporty.
Yeah, that's for sure. No, I would pick up if I wouldn't know. We talked about it, but MVL, I know he's able to swim, but clearly he would have been one of the favorites. I would pick Wang Hao.
I think I've seen Wang
that's
Hao
the
swim.
problem, with so many and Mamedov Shak.
Yeah.
I don't know because Shak is always
Really?
doing unexpected things,
very
and
smart.
I don't know. Maybe he cannot swim.
I cannot.
I would think
answer such
Mamedyarov has a giant pool somewhere in Azerbaijan
Yeah.
where he enjoys his.
Yeah, that's so.
His
That's
rounds.
actually. So probably everyone, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Anish thinks it's a waste of time.
Ah, yes, Anish.
No, but I don't think I've seen him swim, but I'd be surprised if he could. Rapport? I think they can all swim,
Yeah.
actually. Also, usually... Yeah, I can't think of anybody who I would suspect not to be able to swim.
No,
Vishy, Peter, have you seen Vishy swim?
I think so. I'm not sort of having a clear mental picture, but I'm pretty sure that we have gone to such places.
Not the first time we've heard you don't have a
Right.
clear mental picture.
The training camps and such. So that's very much my impression. But
Yeah, that's not something you notice actually.
I more pay attention to trends in opening developments and such. Yes.
Boom.
He keeps trying to sell us that story. Only focused on the chess openings. Okay, the sad answer is we think they can all swim.
Yeah.
All right. we're late
Yeah.
in the episode. Tales from the training camps. I don't have
Come
much.
on, that's your favorite
Peter,
topic.
the saucisson story.
Come on.
It is my favorite topic, but what was the saucisson story? So we were in Kragerø. I think this was before the 2016 match.
Yeah.
And Laurent, as mentioned on the previous episode, wasn't thrilled about the food options there. Like to get this menu with healthy, tasty food every day, not great. So he prepared and he brought a very big saucisson, which is the French word for sausage. Is
Come
that
on,
correct?
I mean,
Yeah,
please
I think
stop it.
also-
Like Peter and Magnus,
The build-
they drive
the
me
build-
crazy
build-
because they say, "Oh, it's very good salami," and this has nothing to do
the
with
build-up
salami.
was that before the match, we had a training camp in Zermatt. No, sorry, not in Zermatt. We had it in this French city who has the Winter Olympics 100 years ago. What is it called?
You're asking me, huh? You think I'm going to?
Yeah,
help,
I'm
huh?
asking you.
I have no idea what you're
Yeah,
talking
no, we were
No,
at
no.
some training camp. I don't. I will Google it.
Chamonix.
In Chamonix, but yeah.
Yeah, we had a training camp there where I think me, Magnus, you were there, and Maxime probably. You being Laurent.
Yeah.
And we were training there and such, and we went into some specialty shops and bought saucisson, which of French salami as we call it. But they're sort of this delicacy, and we was eating that, and that somehow we liked it, and it became a special story, and it's something that you have to cut with a sharp knife because it's a rather hard salami as far as I
Yeah, exactly.
understand.
No, but it's not salami.
It has
Please
a very-
stop this.
It has-
very
well,
annoying.
anyway.
We should mention we do really enjoy saucisson.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
know
No
that it
situation.
drives Laurent
Salami.
crazy if you call it sausage or
You
salami.
can put
so
it
we'll keep doing it.
into Google Translate. I think pretty sure it
Wurst. Wurst,
translates
I
it
checked.
with sausage, yes, or salami. But sort of that was we had quite some internal jokes about that at the camp, and I think we were pushing Laurent to sort of bring some to Chicago. You always complain
No.
about-
We weren't pushing him. He just brought it for it.
maybe he just brought it and
Yeah,
such.
yeah, cool.
And then I think 2 days before the match, I'm having a pretty important conversation with Laurent about some specifics in some opening.
Come on, you're making that.
In
Sounds-
some
sounds made up.
opening and such. And we're talking about it and chatting about it, and suddenly he just goes completely blank. And I thought, what's happening? And then Laurent said that, he just had a huge saucisson accident. So apparently he cut himself in the finger. I asked sort of, well, what's happening? Yeah, he said, a lot of blood.
Oh, come
So,
on, what's
maybe
next?
he
I want to
survived,
the
survived, maybe
hospital for
not.
5 days.
No,
That's the
but
next
you
in the story.
There was a lot of blood.
And your boss.
You disappeared, and you were taken to the
just
reception to
make-
get some help. and
Boss
such, right?
making stuff up. I mean, like,
I don't know. No, I was quite puzzled. I was.
I'm never lying actually in that show. I think I'm the only one.
No. No, I'm sitting there in New York.
Yeah, no, that's true
I was
that I
okay,
cut
well,
myself, but it was not. It was a minor. And we were
it
not
was
talking
enough for you
together
to-
when I did that. I remember clearly that Jan was very
went
excited
to
to
the-
tell you the story over the phone. I mean, like,
You went to the reception.
think that is
I went to the
uh,
reception,
but,
yeah,
yeah.
to take some.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just.
But, yeah.
So,
But you would say it was still worth it for getting the saucisson, like your risk.
yeah.
No, it was nice to have some. Yeah, I enjoy it. In general, I'm eating saucisson on a regular basis. Luckily, not every day.
We burn one more
because-
one more story concerning the reception in Krakow, or not? Should we wait for
Yeah, later.
No, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think the reception in Krakow at that point already didn't have very high thoughts about the chess players, because I think 2 years earlier we had a camp that included Jon Ludwig Hammer. I don't know if you remember, but Krakow is sort of in a nature sort of place with quite some wildlife and such. And I think at some point Hammer comes running into my room and says, "Please come and help Peter." I said, "Okay, what's the problem?" "Well, come to my room and help." And it turns out that there is a frog in his room because his door has been open and such. And we're debating how do we get the frog out of his room and such. So we don't know what to do exactly. Both of us are pretty scared. It is a big frog, one has to admit, and such. And I think the solution is, why don't we call the reception? So Hammer sort of, while I keep I don't attack the frog, but I keep it cornered and sort of, so that it can't really escape. I don't know why we would prevent it from escaping. But, Hammer calls the reception, and it's some young girl answering, and Hammer says, "Well, there is a frog in his room." She says, "Well, maybe let it out." He says, "Well, it's kind of a big frog." And so it turns out that just this young girl who is I'm sure 10 years younger than me and Hammer just comes and takes the frog and takes it out of the room.
She's 10 years younger than you and Hammer?
I would say so. I'm just trying to say that us mature...
You're just trying to say Hammer and you are the same age.
While you have 17
No, not
years
exactly.
difference.
Something like that.
Knowledge.
Maybe it's a good point. 17 years, you're right. Maybe actually 17. But no, well, yeah. So the frog was saved and let out back to nature, and me and Hammer could go back to work feeling physically safe.
This was his Hammer days. Maybe I will come up with a tale
I
from the
think
train camps.
Generally,
with
I
Hammer,
don't think
actually.
they particularly miss us up there in Krakow.
Yeah. Yeah. So now it's the main interest of the show. Chickens of the week. Oof. You love it, Jan. We know it.
No, I think of it as a positive thing.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Well, that's
don't
good
have any.
because I'm gonna nominate
Yeah, me
you.
too.
Excellent.
I mean, well, you just
Wow,
made
you're
a
so
long...
lazy. You make one draw in Bundesliga, and
No, but I mean, the previous show you spent a lot of time talking about. Well, you play someone lower rated with with black. I have to take risk, but I don't really do it and such. And exactly that happens this weekend, right? You play Bunch. Well, your former colleague as Bundestrainer, but well, you managed to get a symmetrical position and repeat. It's that's what you.
what do you want me to do? Very
Play
hard
some-
to make a move there.
Yeah, I think that you should not end up there, ideally.
Yeah, I do agree. Can't help myself. Although that game I didn't feel too terrible about, frankly.
I understand.
But yeah.
But from an equity perspective, I mean, a different strategy would give you more than 50% equity. You agree, right?
That I agree with. It's just in practice, making a move is not so easy. Like I regretted playing
me
knight
about it, I
c6
know.
because then after a3, bishop e7, it came back to memory that knight d5 just makes a draw there as well. So I went bishop d6, but he goes for the symmetrical position. But yeah, of course, you come up with narratives to justify your chickenness. Like I'm not going to deny. It is very hard to be called out by Laurent, who averaged in his
No,
good
but
times
it's not about that.
21 moves in
no.
Bundesliga. For
No, that's true. That's true. That in Bundesliga especially, I'm asked to be solid and okay. I don't need to be.
Yeah.
Just following.
No,
just
also
following
I wanted to
directions.
plug your Perpetual podcast, which was very nice. I mean, we both enjoyed it, Peter, and we had
That's
a good
true.
time listening to it. But I thought your your story about our celebration after the match was really not. Let's say, it was. You didn't lie. Let's face it, but you didn't. You didn't tell everything. So that was a bigger party than what you claimed. But
Do you wanna tell everything? Which parts did I forget? I can't even remember what I said. Like
no, let's say
think
that we
I-
didn't leave at 11 and had a walk on the beach. That's what you said. Yeah, we had a few drinks, and I think we deserved it after the match. Of course, always after the match. So we had a.
So you're calling me out for chickenness for not calling you.
No, not you. I mean, like with
excessive
some
partier
members of the team,
on
not
a-
all of them actually. So we had a few drinks after the match.
Sounds like a stretch. I'll accept the award, but for not pointing out to excessive partying that didn't happen after the Thailand match, that is a very strange reasoning, even for your standards.
Excessive party, which didn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I will don't have the same.
Anyway, Jan, who you're nominating?
I don't know. I don't want to nominate myself. That would be too chicken a move. Who did it?
But you don't like it, yeah? Simply.
Chicken.
Yeah, I mean,
What,
it's
partying?
what you explain in the podcast that you don't. This part of the show, this chicken of the week. You simply don't enjoy the process, yeah.
I don't like it since you're making it a negative thing, and I don't like calling out people for who they are on a weekly basis. Of course, you can say, yeah, Wesley made a quick draw with white against Ali Reza. Like, we know how he plays. But I had him last week as well. So someone make a quick draw. Sorry, we can't prolong this forever.
So
with
Jan is
me-
nominating himself
Me
for not
thinking,
daring to
I'll choose
call out.
myself because I don't have anybody else.
Congratulations with the hat trick.
Thank you. This means a lot.
No, I almost nominated Peter actually.
What about Laurent for not playing Bundesliga because he had a badminton
I
tournament
mean
for his
Peter
daughter?
because
Like last time, Laurent nominated Giri for not qualifying for Grand Chess Tour or something, right? His reasons
that was actually
become more and more.
no, because one of the
Anyway.
last week you did nominate yourself, Peter, for a good reason. And I think I will use the same reason next week if you don't do something about it.
I have honestly
So-
forgotten what it
It's
was.
a threat.
So Giri's story.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough.
Okay.
All right. Any closing statements? What's coming up here? There's Champions Chess Tour. Then Norway Chess is coming. There's a lot of chess.
Yeah.
Candidates aren't far away.
FIDE election deadlines.
That's your Super Bowl, June 7th.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay,
We leave it
Laurent,
at that. Laurent?
Yeah.
I will be in Marseille next
stressed.
week. And I will go to Roland Garros before. So, I mean...
Will you do a meet and greet in Marseille with Chicken Chess
Yeah,
Club
for sure.
fans?
For sure.
Wow.
Come to Marseille.
You will see. I will probably have the next episode from my window.
Details on the official Chicken Chess Club
Yeah.
Twitter account.
Yeah.
Meet Laurent Fressinet in person.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for
Thank you
listening.
very much.
Thanks
Till
for this
next
time.
week.
Okay. Bye bye.